Despite still not being done with Persona 3 Reload, I figured I might as well try the demo for Metaphor ReFantazio, seeing as the game's full release is just around the corner. And after playing through 8 or so hours of the game, I think it's easily shaping up to be yet another amazing JRPG from Alice. With how similar it is to Persona though, I'm just going to focus on the things that were different, as well as my overall thoughts based on the demo. The first key difference is that instead of Personas, in ReFantazio you have Archetypes, and while they both serve the same purpose, Archetypes differ in a few ways. For example, unlike in Persona, in ReFantazio, the protagonist isn't the only one who can change their archetype. This way, regardless of what party members you include, you can still customize your party composition however you want, which is just so nice. Another key difference is the way in which you unlock new archetypes. Rather than fusing personas, you'll need to find the corresponding social link for an archetype's class to unlock it. Some are tied to your party members, while others come from side characters you'll meet along the way. To unlock further evolutions of that class though, you'll need to level up both the archetype and its social link. Now, considering that the game has 14 classes of archetypes and around 40 plus archetypes in total, I could easily see myself grinding away for hours. But seeing as the base archetypes have a max level of 20, and that the game gives plenty of rewards to boost your archetype's XP, I don't think it'll be too bad. One last thing that I like about archetypes is that after unlocking an ability, as long as you have enough Magla, then you can equip that ability on any archetype you own, and I honestly can't wait to see all the broken combos people come up with. Moving on, another thing that I really like is this game's combat. And while it does feel familiar, it's also very unique. For starters, how a fight starts in ReFantazio is really important. Now, for why that's the case, there are a few reasons. The main being that whoever attacks first also gets to go first. But since the entire team gets to go first instead of just one character, it's in your best interest to always be the one to start a fight. On top of being able to go first though, you can basically take a second turn if you stun an enemy before engaging them. Doing this stuns the entire enemy team as the fight starts, forcing them to each skip a turn. So if you play your cards right, you can easily end a fight unscathed, which actually rewards you with some bonus XP, Magla, and money. One thing to keep in mind though is that depending on an enemy's strength, it'll take more or less hits to stun them. Stronger enemies will take quite a few hits to knock down and will require some dodging, while regular enemies only take a couple of hits. When hitting weaker enemies though, you'll just outright kill them and skip the squad battle entirely. And if I'm being honest, having this feature at the beginning of the game is so fucking nice. Now, another thing that's different with combat is the action economy. Each character basically has one action per turn, but there are a few ways to get more actions. One of those ways is to exploit an enemy's weakness. This basically only uses up half your character's turn, allowing you to possibly double all the actions you take. But if one of your party members can't exploit a weakness, you can pass their turn, which also only uses half an action. Some other random things that I really loved about combat are that different archetypes have access to different equipment, each weapon type has its own unique attack animations, and you can charge attacks to launch yourself at an enemy. But the coolest thing by far is the redo button. Basically, if you don't like how a fight went down and have at least one party member alive, you can just reset the fight. Not only does this cut back time spent reloading difficult boss fights, but it also makes it easier to get that sweet unscathed victory. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the story and characters. But considering how long these games can be, I don't want to make any assumptions before playing more of the game. What I will say for now though, is that I really like what I've seen so far. For example, there seem to be a lot of heavy themes present that directly affect you as the player. To give some context, the main character is part of a rare race known as the Elda. However, Elda are not treated very kindly, and you'll run into your fair share of racism and discrimination. Some stores will outright refuse to do business with you, while others may increase prices just because you're an Elda. Overall, having side characters as well as the player deal with these issues really adds an extra layer of weight to these themes, and I'm excited to see what else the game tackles. Aside from that, I think the game also has a strong set of characters, and while I like all of them, my favorite character would have to be Hulkenberg. Something about a slim elf wielding a massive halberd is just so badass to me, and the voice acting by Kristen Atherton is simply amazing. On another note, I also really like that the main character has plenty of voice dialogue, and while it isn't a lot compared to other characters, I really like the extra layer of personality it adds.
Don't worry, my friends all talk. Hey!
Now, I couldn't really figure out how to fit these last points in with the rest of the video, but I did want to mention that, as per usual, the artwork and UI designs are absolutely amazing. Just the same, the OST also kicks ass, especially that battle theme. Like, holy shit. Now, while I don't think I'll be picking up the game immediately, as I've already got plenty of JRPGs to play through, Metaphor ReFantazio is shaping up to be a fantastic addition to the JRPG landscape. blending familiar elements from previous Persona games with refreshing new mechanics and a story that doesn't take place in high school. It's definitely a game I'll be keeping an eye on, and I'm excited to see how it all unfolds upon full release.